And we're back. Tune in and find the others. We got J Rose here. What's up, J Rose?
Yo, hello, Earth.
Oh,
Oh,
how's it
saw,
going?
dude.
What's up?
Oh, well, nothing much. Tony, did you know we're making podcast history right now? I'm gonna take my glasses off for this.
It's serious.
No, did you know? No, we actually are, and you don't know why, and I'm about to reveal it here in 10 seconds.
No, I didn't know. Please
Okay.
inform me.
I mean, we're making this is like you're gonna have. How many people have you had on your podcast so far?
For the video portion or just in general?
Uh, in general.
This is the 9th podcast.
Okay, excellent. First off, 9 is my lucky number. Has been for years, so that's awesome. Yes, of all the first 10, let's say 12, like this is a unique situation. I'm not saying it'll be the greatest podcast, but I want to start off with this. We're making podcast history because guess where I am right now?
Where?
I'm in your room at the Sink House here in Grand Rapids. Yeah, check it out.
What the hell? That is so bizarre.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. So look at this content you get here on Tony Guerin's podcast. Like, when has someone ever recorded a podcast where the host's guest, so me, the guest, is in the host's former bedroom?
Oh my God.
You just can't get there anywhere else. You can't write this.
That's so cool.
Well, yeah. So now
man.
Connor lives in this room now, and he's finishing up a gig. And I was like, I'm visiting this weekend, kind of on a whim, but I was like, hey, I need a space to do this podcast with Tony. And he was like, oh, you can use my room. And I was like, dude, that's a trip because Tony lived there for like 10 months.
Yeah.
But anyway,
great.
Well,
great
that's really the most exciting thing I had for you. So now that is finished,
I seriously doubt that.
yeah. But dude, I'm good, man. Life is progressing, and we're halfway through 2021 and pushing onward. And you're in another country, although you're still in the same time zone, and that's great. So
for now, in the fall, it's going to switch. I'm going to be an hour ahead.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So you'll be in the future.
Yeah, they don't have daylight savings time. So
yep. Hawaii is the same way. They don't respect. I guess respect.
Oh, really?
They don't recognize. They don't respect daylight savings time.
Well, the U.S. didn't really respect them when they kind of overthrew their kingdom. So.
Oh yeah, no, we don't do a good job of respecting really anybody.
That's true.
But we put in daylight savings time, and they didn't want any part of it, and I don't blame them. So
I don't blame them either.
Yeah. So, but well, that's cool, man. How have your adventures been? What's the domain? I don't really know much about the country you're in. So.
Yeah, Commonwealth of Dominica. A lot of people confuse it with Dominican Republic.
Sure.
It's a couple islands away from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
It's in this like stretch of islands, volcanic islands in the Caribbean. Okay. And it's mostly the race here is mostly black. It's really interesting because this island actually was the center point where all the slaves escaped to in neighboring countries, and those colonized areas. They escaped to Dominica, and so Dominica is kind of representing this like free land. It's really cool, and it's it used to be, I think it used to be a part of France, gained its independence. I can't remember when exactly they did, but they kind of run things their own way. A lot of places don't have the police don't really even do anything for travel. There's no like speed limit signs unless you're like in the center of the main city. Mm-hmm. So people are like whipping past and up the mountain, down the mountain. It's beautiful here, absolutely gorgeous. And it rains every day. And it just started raining again. It's probably going to stop in like 15 seconds. And that's just what it does. Like, just rains for like 30 seconds, 50 seconds, and then it stops. And then like
that's because of the region, right? Because tropical, like it's right on the ocean and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot that I still have to learn about it, but yeah, wind carries it through. It's really interesting where we're at because
Just
like
tiny little rain clouds that
rain
just
comes in. There's like a mountain over here, and rain
uh-huh.
comes in, and that's when you know it's gonna rain on us. It like rains over there, and then all of a sudden it starts to like come this way.
Okay.
Because we're on the side of a volcano right now.
Um, oh yeah,
So
that's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you
so
mentioned that.
many so
Um,
many cool dynamics.
dude, lava is so cool. Like, man, I hope you get to see lava one day. I don't know, like, what a weird thing to say,
I
but
hope not.
well, I hope you get to see a little bit of lava, like that is harmless to everybody. But like, man, it's like what the it's like the ultimate mix of fire and earth. You know what I mean? That's us, fire and earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Leo, Taurus, like fire and earth together
Mm-hmm.
is lava. Or like a
Here we
campfire.
are.
We are lava. We are the mix of two elements. Well, we're the mix of all elements, truly. But well, that's cool. I'm glad you've been there for like 3.5 weeks now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. So
Well, in Dominica, I've been here for 2.5. And the early part of my travels was in Puerto Rico, and
that's right.
wild situations happened there. Um, that was just gorgeous. I ended up in this like $1 million house, and this like billionaire that created this like co-op situation where he wanted spiritual people to just operate this place, and they operate it like a cooperative. um and you go up on the roof, and it's just this gorgeous view of this like old military fort, and like there's this huge green hill overlooking the ocean, old San Juan with like really old buildings, and there's like spray painted graffiti of like empowerment and like power to the people
Hmm.
vibes. It was a wild trip, and my plane got delayed multiple
Okay.
times.
Okay.
So
Well,
I
that's
was meant to
awesome.
be
I'm glad you
there,
got to spend some time there.
and
Heard it's beautiful, beautiful, and I hope to visit in the next like 3 to 5 years, hopefully.
yeah, yeah, it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, it's yeah, summer's trudging along. I'm here in GR for a slow weekend, but there's a lot of local fests going on in Michigan and around the Midwest and around the area that people are going to. It's good to see people like definitely like people's state of mind and mental health. I think is a little bit elevated. Just being able to go out and spend weekends with their
Yeah,
friends, like without guilt or without like concern or uncertainty. So, um, but yeah, we're right in the heart of summer. I'm doing a lot of work at Tangent Gallery, which of course is actually where we met. Um, and then you stayed over at our house, and then we got to do the spectacle a few weeks after that.
yeah,
But yeah, working at the venue has been great. We've been having some awesome shows, mostly outdoor, open air with like they've just been Dave and Joe have been doing a great job there, and it's been an awesome opportunity to be able to bartend and also continue to perform and throw shows there. So that's kind of
beautiful.
been my home base this summer. And we just had our first nonsense night in like 10 months last weekend.
Yeah.
So
So Tangent Gallery is where Nonsense Night is, and what maybe explain Nonsense Night for people that don't really
sure,
know,
sure, yeah, nonsense night is a it's kind of like a
as it's
beacon.
pouring down right
I
now.
can hear. I heard like
Yeah.
I thought it was like I thought you just played like a waterfall effect on YouTube for us. Like, it was like so natural. But yeah,
Gotcha.
Nonsense Night is its home base has been at Tangent Gallery for 7 years roughly. It was started by Zach Winchester, aka Zach and What Army, aka the Nonsense Man. It is his baby and his sort of pilot. And so I sort of just started, showing up 6 years ago, and then started playing unofficially, and then became part of the main team of people that throws and puts on Nonsense Night and cultivates the experience. Our motto is "Be the strange you wish to see in the world." The events are meant for weirdos, creators, artists, or people just curious and who want to have a different experience and not just like these traditional Type A spaces and clubs and bars. Like Tangent is sort of this myriad and this platform for different kinds of expression. We do different themes. which means we deck out the place in different decorations. We've had space themes. We've had Cosmic Serpent Circus, which is like a reptilian carnival theme. We had an underwater one. We're having a steampunk theme coming up in October. We do costumes, quests, characters, beatboxing, fire spinning, all sorts of stuff. And it used to be once a month, and now it's a little more spread out. But we're getting back on the horse, so to speak, and we've got a couple coming up in the next few months. So it's just a great container. People have really been impacted by the freedom and the weirdness and the like atypicality of the event and the space itself. People have really been
Yeah.
changed and inspired to like express themselves more or to spend time with different people or meet new friends through
So
it. And that's
cool.
the best. That's the best part of it. Yeah, it's the container, and I think Spectacle did a great job of doing that. And now at the DAC, like being around groups that are doing that is really empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so cool to see people just step into their strangeness. Just
Yes.
like allow themselves to just really be weirdos,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it cultivates that experience because everybody else is just like stepping into their character and whatever that shows up for them in that in the moment. I remember being there at the very beginning. There was I don't know if it was the first time or the second time that I was there,
Mm-hmm.
um, but just I felt overwhelmed for like
Mm-hmm.
because at the time I wasn't comfortable with myself in certain aspects
Mm-hmm.
of like flowing with the moment and trusting that I could just like I would judge myself, right?
Sure.
And so
Sure.
here are all these people that are really truly just being weird as whatever they want to be and creating these vistas and stories
Yep.
and characters that they express in the moment with each other and just flowing with it without a skip of a beat. And you you embody that quite a bit, and I love that. I admire people like you that are able to just like step into that, and everybody's able to. It's just
Sure.
practicing.
Sure.
It's practicing being in that moment and just trusting that you can be however you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. Be the strange you wish to see in the world is
Yeah.
exactly the motto that embodies everything you just said. A little bit of what I was talking about. Typically, there's three kinds of individuals or experiences that will come to and towards a nonsense night, right? So you've got A, which is myself, yourself, a lot of people in the community. They're immersed. They're like, this is nonsense night. I'm home. I'm here. Let's be weird. It is no hesitation for them. Then there's B. These are individuals who are are not nearly as immersed in the community. They may become immersed, which is awesome. We love that. We're always growing, changing. People move, people come and go. It's fluctuating, just like any community. But they are and just craving, whether they know it or not, consciously or subconsciously, they're craving something weird. And like you said, a vista or a container for something just unusual and something different than the monotony and routine that may fill their lives. And
Yeah.
that is number two. And number three, this is the best, is people who were like invited without really knowing what this event is. Maybe they didn't even know that it was called Nonsense Night, right? And we rip them out of their shell and we kicking and screaming if need be, and we take them out of their comfort zone hard. And we're like, you're part of a quest. There's a space force. We need to fight the lizard people, or there's a serpent circus. Okay, we need your help, or you need to be the hero to slay the dragon or whatever. Like, and then they are overwhelmed, like you mentioned you were at one point, and they are embarrassed a little bit, and then
Yeah.
but they leave the night with an understanding that, like, you know what, it's kind of like when you're scared to go to the dentist as a kid, and then you go and you're like, it wasn't that comfortable. There was some weird like noises and there was some stuff, but like the fluoride was kind of gross, but you know what, ultimately it wasn't that bad. Like, I did it, I got through it, and I'm good, and maybe I'm even a little braver for it. That's the third group, and that's
There you
really a
go.
great demographic for us. And that group transitions into one of the other two slowly or quickly. And to kind of incorporate all three of those groups in one, with music, fire spinning, with costumes, with quests, that's kind of the magic of Nonsense Night.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed the biggest thing that I notice is the costumes, the people, the not only like the characters mentally that people step into, but when you couple that with just such vibrant colors and like ridiculous like expression, and it's like it forces you to accept, oh
Yeah,
okay, and this,
and
and now this. And
yep, it's the rule of
it's
improv.
like, all
Yes, and
right,
yep.
cool, all right.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, and like we
It
bring in
just kind of
musicians
floats
from
into in between the lines of like what it's, is it this or is it this, and it's like it, I recognize it as like kind of like a gender thing too. It's like you can't define it as anything.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't define anybody as anything, and that
Yeah.
may, I feel like that's partially part of the point, because it gets you into this space of like, I just, I accept this person as they are in this moment, and it's like, wow, what an interesting experience. And like,
Mhm.
and if you're open to that, if you're willing to drop your ego and just be in that moment, it's like, all right, right on.
Yeah,
This is an
absolutely.
experience I've never felt before,
And
and
it's a
it can take people
mutual
to a new
experience
place.
too. It's yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly. It takes them to a new place, and it's mutual. It's like we're all being weird. So the only way to resist is to not join in, and then gonna feel it's gonna be you're gonna flip roles. Like if somebody comes in there and they're just like, oh man, like they're like, and then this is weird. Like everyone's being real weird. Suddenly they're weird. You know what I mean? Like it's like we flip the roles because like, and that's not our goal, but it's happened every once in a while, and it's
Yeah.
natural. It's organic. You know, people are going to resist. They're going to be like, if Zach or myself or Phoenix come out and we're like, and we're trying to like engage people in a game. It's kind of like when you're a kid, it's kind of like returning to that childhood sense of like, if you take a 6-year-old and you're out at a picnic and you're like, dude, the fairies are after us, or we got to get to the river and save the queen or whatever. Like we have to come on, let's go do this. They're gonna engage. Most of the time, a vast majority, we're trying to kind of get that playfulness out of people. And sometimes it's
Awakening
very
the
easy
inner child.
awakening the inner child, right? Which is wasn't that a theme of one of the spectacles? Wasn't there something? Yeah, the inner child. Yeah, I think that was
We created this like fort for people to play in and stuff.
right, like a blanket fort. Yeah, man, because like there's elements of being children that are stigmatized as bad that I think we could really embrace in the right moments, the right energy, and like playing and being silly and yes and now this that kind of like additive. Like we're never like shutting down. That's a rule of improv. I did
Mm-hmm.
improv for the 10 years or so, middle school, high school, college, and like you never block an idea. You want to continue the flow of creativity as best as possible. And if it's weird, to make it weirder, or just continue it in one direction. But that was the biggest thing that would kill an improv scene, and it's the same thing with any kind of energy in a social space. Is like, if we start an improv scene and you're like, oh man, you know, we got to hop on these dinosaurs and get out of here before this place explodes. And I'm like, yeah, and these dinosaurs are hungry, so we also have to get them some food. But then the third guy on our team is like, oh no, man, no, the dinosaurs are dead. We'd be like, it's like a complete
Mm-hmm.
flattener of energy.
Yep.
So
And it's like, ew.
yeah, so we try to capture that and having it back, because we did one in October, we did one in August, and there was still capacity because of COVID. It's open air, it's outdoors for the most part, but now that we can really just open the gates and let people back in, and do it full blast, full send, as the kids say, it's been great. And we have this one coming up in August is where the weird things are. It's kind of like animal themed. Um, and then the one in October is steampunk. So we really are gonna be getting weird. That's our MO. So, but yeah, that's Nonsense Night in a nutshell. It's awesome if you're listening to this and you're in the Detroit area. If you're in Michigan, however, and you want to come out, just check out Nonsense Night on Facebook. Nonsense Night Detroit.
Nice. I
We're doing the
appreciate
thing.
that plug. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
probably put that in the description too.
Mm-hmm.
You're also a musician.
Mm-hmm.
You go by J Rose.
Yes, yes. My stage name has become my name in Michigan, which I love.
I
It's good.
don't.
It's
I
consistent.
I can't even imagine calling you Julian. Like it's
It's
like
very
a
weird.
fun thing to do sometimes, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just every once a couple people in my friends in Michigan will call me that, and it's funny because none of my friends from Virginia, where I grew up, very few of them refer to me as J Rose. So when my friends from Michigan meet my friends from Virginia, there's some confusion because one of them will refer to me as a name that the other doesn't recognize. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, my music project is J Rose Loops. I do vocal looping, beatboxing, vocal harmonies, effects, all this stuff. I've been referred to as a mouth wizard, which sounds a little weird, a vocal sorcerer, vocal DJ, which I think is the most straightforward. Vocal looping, of course, is the genre. The glowing rectangle player, button pusher, um, etc. You know, there's a lot of sort of fun names for it, but yeah, that's what I do. I layer vocals. I do beatboxing usually to start. I create a bass line, some harmonies, and then I sing and rap on top of it once I've created the backing track, if you will. Um, and yeah, I've been using the loop station for 5 years now, coming on coming on 5 years. So.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. And anybody that has ever heard J Rose, you can attest how beautiful of an experience it is and flowing into every moment. You've done it so effortlessly over a long period of time and learning the technology that you can just add in the moment when somebody says something like, and then it becomes a fun experience because everyone's like, holy shit, he's doing that. It's like he's DJing to the moment, and it can create a really interesting experience for everybody. And um, I really encourage everybody to check out his new CD. If you want to talk about that,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate what you said. You're also a great cultivator of musical experiences,
thank you.
and as is Connor and Phoenix and other musicians that we work with. Like, I think we all have a great grasp of like capturing the moment and whatnot. But yeah, I like sort of being random, taking requests for freestyles and stuff like that. But yeah, the new CD was just released 2 months ago. It's called The Manual. It's on Spotify. J hyphen ROSE, that's the artist name, and then the manual is the first album that'll come up. It was written entirely during 2020. 6 of the 7 songs were written during the quarantine slash lockdown period of COVID. So, basically, like I was locked in my room, told not to go anywhere, started making music, and the music that came out, and some of it was facilitated by experiences with my friends and dreams and reflecting on, what does this mean? How long is this going to last? We didn't know when it broke out. Like, what is this going to be? Is this going to be a month or two? Is this going to be 3 years? And now there's another variant. There's so much confusion, and like to really capture that in a CD, I'm very proud of it. Jesse Fox, a friend of ours, a friend of mine. He's a brilliant audio mind. He recorded, mixed, and mastered everything, as
Nice.
well as mastering my last CD, Chemical X. And it came out great. It's on Spotify. A few of the songs are very serious. It's meant to be sort of like a millennial, generational binding message, and a few of the songs are pretty serious and are very content rich as far as like how do we change the world? How do we push it forward? What does it look like? So songs like the manual, the title track, and Golden Goose have that tone, whereas some of them are very playful, silly. Like don't take this too seriously. Be loose. Be fluid. Support one another. Sometimes you don't have to like be brilliant. You just have to like I got you, Tony. I got you, Alex. Tony's got Connor or Liana. Like we all like love and support each other, and we help each other with resources and advice and space. Some of those songs like Trapdoor and like Sometimes on there are more like a sort of the other side of the coin. They're playful, but the whole CD is just really like meant to be a message for our generation. Because like this past I think 5 years, COVID, the volatility that has come through social media. Um, BLM, the movements, the social energy. I think it's really defining and cementing what it means to be a millennial. I think it's really like us coming into our own. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and that was kind of the motivation behind the music. So yeah, if you want to check it out, it's on Spotify. Soon my second album will be as well, so all three will be there together in
The
one.
trifecta.
The trifecta. Yes, yes. But yeah, man. Yeah, have you listened to it a couple times? I know I don't think I got you a hard copy, but
Yeah, I have. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet.
okay.
So hurt me.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm
I mean,
just
like,
kidding.
yeah, each song is its own little quirk. So, yeah, there have been people who like have been listening to it on repeat, and a couple of my friends are like, "Man, I've only listened to like two or three songs. Like, I'm really like resonating with those songs before I move on to other ones." So,
Yeah. Yeah, when we went up to play our last show as Why Not for a while because I was leaving,
hmm
um, we were deciding on what to listen to in the car, and I was like, "Oh man, I haven't listened to Jay Rose's new CD yet." So I threw that on, um,
okay,
and love it. And what's interesting is I've heard you in the midst of you coming up with these lyrics,
yep,
over the past year and some change. And
oh yeah,
so and
yeah. I came up with the main loop for "Sometimes," which is one of the more popular songs, number five, while I was at Parkwood, your old house, the sort of the hub of the community for a couple of years. And we had it was the night that we or the night after we protested in Grand Rapids downtown
mhm, mhm.
with many of our friends, and it was a very a a day rich with experience, and I felt very humbled. And then 2 days, 3 days later, I would go march and protest in Detroit twice, and yeah, so like and the yeah, I gained a lot of my content and my inspiration from those protests. The one in Grand Rapids and the two in Detroit. They very much affected me. So,
Yeah,
um, I mean, we were in the thick of it. I mean, I think
powerful.
that was a year and 2 months ago. To think,
Yeah. Yeah, because it was end of May.
very end of May. Yep.
Yeah. I got out of there. I I got
Yeah,
tear gassed quite
I
a
know.
bit.
I know. Yeah, you
I,
were in the
I
trenches.
was like running away, like tears coming down my eyes, like ah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got so mad too because like I was, it just the pain wouldn't stop in my eyes, and I was just like continuously walking away. And at a certain point, I just shouted at the top of my lungs, "Fuck the police!" And it was just so animalistic.
Yeah,
Like it was just so like, and
it was a release. It was a genuine
yeah,
release of emotion and anger and frustration. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man, that last summer. Oh, I was like, this summer is so chill. It's so fun. It's like, ah, man, we're people again. Last summer
kind
was
of,
like, dude, put your fucking mask on, bro. What
yeah,
do you mean? Fuck the like, blah 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 volatility. Boom 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 fire. You know, this
yeah,
one is like
yeah.
more calm.
Such a point of contention between so many
Contention
people.
everywhere, everywhere. Everyone's like,
Yeah,
yeah. Last summer, um, created a lot of important discomfort and disharmony among people. It really, I think the rubber met the road on a lot of people with their relatives or some friends and their beliefs, and I think that was good. Um, but also, I think it created this like I don't know, it's hard to say or articulate, but like and this point in and of itself, every time I say this, to people, especially like individuals like yourself who are very like strong-willed and like you guys are like fighters, like intellectually, and you have like strong values. When I say this to people, they're like, okay, what does that mean? But like the statement is last summer taught, I think gave the impression that everybody you have to have an opinion about everything. And I don't believe I think it's harmful to force people to have an opinion on everything,
yeah.
which I
I
know is like a
agree with
weird.
you.
Yeah, it's like you really, you won't have an opinion on everything. You don't have to force yourself um, to to have an opinion and thought. It's okay to just listen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's okay
Right,
to just like
right.
listen, be impartial, and understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It doesn't.
that's the thing too, is like taking in the information that you're given and not jumping to conclusions,
Mhm.
taking in all the facts, taking in your direct experience, processing that,
Yeah,
reflecting on that, not just going with the crowd.
yeah,
Really
exactly.
s- deciphering what's going on, because we live in a propaganda war
Oh yeah,
on multiple fronts. And so I think it's really important to take a breath, center, and really reflect on what is my role in this, or what
right.
even is this, and what is my role in this,
Yeah,
to be able to take conscious action.
for sure, for sure. Because like when you exercise that, what we've just sort of what we've just hit on, like when you exercise that, it can be tough, but you will feel very genuinely charged and spirited towards the things that really hit along your values or your life and your energy. Like then you can really ascend into what I consider true expression, which is not forced, and you don't feel like you are being you don't feel like you're obligated or you're being like you're having your arm twisted into making into choosing a side or making a statement. You know, I mean, then you really get genuine expression of your values,
Yeah.
which is important. And last summer, sort of like I said, rubber met the road. You know, all we heard is like stories of people and the racist uncle or aunt or like people who are in our lives and that we've known forever, and we have to start to reevaluate our relationships, or even better, open discussions with those people if they're if they're available for that. You know, if they're open to it, to have those discussions and to see where the disagreements lie. You know, if you can really get to the source of how did you come to your viewpoint, how did this person come to theirs, what is the common ground, what are the differences? That's ultimately the Socratic method. That's what they've been, what philosophers and orators and discourse facilitators have been talking about for decades, not decades, for centuries and millennia, is bringing ideas to the table. So I think there was a lot of that, and there was also a lot of just this us versus them. You know, the butter side battle, like Dr. Seuss was, just throwing, just food fighting, just intellectual food fighting at each other.
Mm,
Um,
hmm.
so
Especially
last,
online.
especially online's the easiest place to do it. It's
Right.
the easiest place to do it when you don't have to look into
It's like
someone's
being in your
eye.
car when there's a driver next to you that's doing something that you feel is incredibly stupid.
Yep.
And you're just like, ah, fuck that guy, you know?
Yep. Yeah, because you're in your container. You're in your container, and you're like
Right.
you don't have to look in someone's eyes. You just blah 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 type, and you just hammer away and press send, and that's it. Also, you can edit and delete. You know, it's like once you say something, you said it. Like if I say something, if I'm like hockey pucks, purple hockey pucks, and then tomorrow Tony's like J Rose said purple hockey pucks on my podcast, and I'm like, no, I didn't. You can't. You're like, yeah, you did. What do you mean? What do you think? I'm lying. What do I have to gain from this? But online, there's not that unless someone's screenshotting. At which point they're probably taking the argument too seriously. But like they're getting receipts of like your comments, but you could literally delete a comment and then someone's like still responding, and like you don't
It's
even have to, it's
it's a
you
mess.
you have deleted, you have edited, like that ability. That ability is it changes the entire sort of medium of argument. So
Yeah.
there's so much of that last summer. I think people have
There's so much.
really, I was
Sorry.
just saying, I think people have really gotten tired of it, and are now like kind of like fatigued by it. So,
Yeah, yeah. There's
somewhat.
fatigue. There's confusion on the updated version of things. Even COVID. It's like there's so many things that are going on that are confusing on multiple fronts, and we want to like try to make the best decisions for ourselves and our family and our
Mhm.
children and our communities. And it's like you get all these conflicting information, and also like not only conflicting information, but a lot of propaganda that's coming from the state and coming from like these institutions that have never really been trustworthy. So it's like, what are people supposed to believe? You know? And so I think that confusion has like, and especially since a lot of these measures have like hurt people's lives in a lot of ways. So it's like there's so much pent up frustration and disgust, and then you have like the black struggle, and you have indigenous struggle, and you have all these like possible wars that are going on and actual wars that are going on,
Yep.
covert means and overt means, to exploit or to find a way for like certain institutions to gain
Mhm.
over other people or over like the lower classes. It's a mess, and but we're here, and I think a lot of this is a calling. I think of I think I have to turn I have to plug in my computer here.
Aha.
So just hold on a jiffy and we'll get to it.
The Tony Guerin Julian Rosen podcast will resume in just a moment. Here's a message from one of
Just
our sponsors. Have you ever wanted different colored hockey pucks? Yeah! Well, now you can have rainbow hockey pucks: green, black, white, orange, blue, and our newest color, purple. Shing! By calling in the next 15 minutes, you can have an entire order of rainbow hockey pucks for 7 easy payments of $13.99 shipped right to you. Use them for hockey. Use them for throwing at your neighbor's car when the car alarm goes off at 6 in the morning and you're very frustrated. Or use them as a coaster. Whatever you want, rainbow hockey pucks are for you. Ding! And now back to the show.
we're back to tune in and find the others. We're with J Rose here, and what a
Yes,
lovely
yes. Cool
commercial that
sponsor,
you
man.
have
Wow, rainbow hockey pucks.
portrayed.
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
into it.
yeah.
I'm into it. Yeah, that's great that you have some
Well, that'll be
sponsors.
in the description below.
I am. Yeah, yeah. You really don't have to put that in there. But we. I'm not sponsored by Bang, but I am drinking Bang. It's just like I've been in the sun a lot today in the past week, and I'm like the sun is draining. I'm sure you're experiencing that where you are, but like I feel sometimes very lethargic, and I need some caffeine, to keep me
Mm,
going. And sometimes I get a yerba mate, but today I was like
yeah,
for the podcast. Yeah,
yeah. I've
Bang
had
is
bangs before. I think they're great. But if I drink a whole one in one
yeah,
sitting, I think I will lose my mind
yeah, absolutely. No,
because
I've
it
I've
just
only
you're
drinking
just
like I've drinking like a third of this, and I'm good. I may only take like one more sip throughout this.
yeah. The problem is it's so good.
Mm-hmm. It actually tastes good. Sometimes I will purposely get like an okay flavor instead of a good flavor, just so I won't drink it so fast. Um,
Mm.
and then once I
Yeah,
get once I get halfway through the can, I'm like, got it. Like save it for tomorrow, or save it for a rainy day or another day. But yeah, man. Yeah. So last summer, this summer, next summer, dude. Oh, ay caramba, man. Next summer is gonna be bonkers, dude. Electric Forest is back. Everything's full blast, potentially. Or there's a new variant and we shut down again. And then we look at this summer, which I've dubbed the summer of awkwardness, because everyone's like, how do I be a people? How do I person? There's been some of that, and even for myself, I've noticed. But there's also the timeline where the variant comes out strong. We have to shut down again for 6 to 8 months. It would suck. It would suck. But it at least people at least need to like grapple with the concept that may happen. And then like next summer is like last summer, and then it's like, wow, how do we really get on top of COVID and the possible variants that it creates? So I
yeah.
think it will be the first example where it's just wide open and festivals are back in full force. But
It's so
yeah,
hard to tell at this moment
yeah,
because of there's a lot of protests all over the world, um happening right now, especially in France. I don't know if you've seen that, but France is livid over Macron, who's the president there. Basically said that anybody that wants to go to a grocery store or go on a plane or go on a train or anything like that must have a COVID test for every single time that you go on there or get the vaccine. And so people are
Or get the
pissed.
vaccine. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of conflicting information that's coming out about like people that have gotten the vaccine getting COVID more than people that are unvaccinated.
Uh
It's
huh.
weird, really, really, really weird stuff, and I don't know what to make of it. And I'm trying my best to find my voice through it. But I'm really glad that honestly that um, you know, I've I myself I have not gotten it. It's a good feeling to know that even though all this madness has happened, I feel good about like my role in it and
Sure.
what it's played for me.
I,
But
I like I
also,
like the way you put it. Like,
yeah,
it's good to keep an ear to the ground and to sort of and to sort of like hear like what you said, like, oh, apparently people who've gotten the vaccine have had this experience, and like protesting, of course, like that's like big brother stuff, like control, like maybe not big brother, but it's like controlling people's actions in order to have groceries are like a basic right, you know what I mean, like to have access to produce and to resources, and you know what I mean, like going to the post office, having water, having food,
hotels.
yeah, going to hotels, like being able to vacation and stuff you plan for, like that is starting to cross a line for sure. My favorite thing about the vaccine is, and now I'm not saying that you have claimed to like be an expert on it or anything. I actually like your perspective of just like, hearing and sort of gathering information, but truly nobody I know knows anything about the vaccine. Like nobody has reliable information for me to go off of. And yet, I'd say like 1 in 10, 1 in 8 people act like they're experts on it. They're like, oh, yeah, and this is on both sides. This is pro vax and anti vax. And this happens with a lot of different social phenomenon where it's like, oh, suddenly everybody knows so much. And I'm like, dude, really, like realistically, there are pros and cons to getting the vaccine. There are pros and cons to not getting the vaccine. You have to weigh them, and they may be different depending on where you live, who you live with, all that stuff, your community, all that stuff. But like, ultimately, nobody really knows anything. Like, nobody really knows or has much knowledge of it, other than it's being it's being administered by our government as the best means for dealing with this, because like we we can't kill, like nobody, like there obviously we haven't gotten rid of COVID. That was never really an option. So um, you know vaccines are just the best. They're far from a perfect solution. They're even far from a good solution, but they are ultimately, one of the best general methods to dealing with like a pandemic. So, um, but yeah, I've heard people who've gotten the vaccine have had weird side effects like months and months later. Like it's far from a perfect solution, like I said.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
the thing that's really weird about it is a lot of this information is coming out about um, people getting um, blood clots in their heart, blood clots in their brain. The spike protein is actually traveling throughout the body, where it's supposed to just stay in the arm and go into the lymph node.
yeah,
Um, and then it's supposed to carry itself to the immune system from there and
right,
update for whatever comes through. And what's happening, which is like really weird. I'm not trying to claim that I'm a scientist or I
sure,
know
sure, sure.
I've studied some of this stuff, so
Yeah,
I
but
have
you've
some
researched it.
idea.
That's good. That's good.
But it's 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 just weird because like what's coming out about like some of the people in the UK are like a lot of these, and not just the UK but a lot of different countries that have most of their population vaccinated. They're actually getting they're getting this new variant, and people are it's the jury is still out as to why.
Right.
So yeah,
I
it's a
guess
weird, it's
the
a
new
really weird
variant is
time.
yeah, the new variant isn't 100% stopped by the vaccine. Maybe not even 50%.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess the question is the new variant as potent and as rampant as the first bout of COVID?
Mhm.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that more in future podcasts
yeah,
as things start coming out, you know.
it's also funny because
It's
like not every like we all knew no one we all knew not everyone was going to get vaccinated. So like it's really funny to me that people would argue over something that is statistically predictable. It's like there's no way that 100% of people were going to get vaccinated in our country. That will never happen with any vaccine ever. 0% chance, guarantee. It's not a lot of guarantees. No way that even 80% of people, but like you knew that at least 55-60% of people were going to get vaccinated. So somewhere between 55 and 70% of people, right, are going to receive the vaccine. And so like I saw these like anti-vax arguments, and I'm like, you're in the 35% that won't. You're in the 65% that will. Cool. There's no need there's no need to argue. Like you've
well,
made
I
your
think
decision.
to be fair, J Rose, I think the argument is that that's 30% of the population that's going to be denied certain rights.
That's the
And
problem. Yes.
yes, exactly.
That's the problem, right? But
Yeah.
like whether you get the vaccine or not is kind of just part of a statistical bell curve. But yeah, I mean, I have a problem. I have issues with this, like denying or requiring and making people pay for a COVID test to go to the grocery store. Like they're already spending money. Some people barely have enough of a budget to be able to buy groceries. Middle class, poor people who like it's
It's exposing a lot of the flaws in the system.
yeah, it's unethical to make people pay money for a COVID test to prove that they can go into to get groceries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And um, I definitely have issue with that. I mean, and that's what needs to be solved. That's the X that needs to be solved. Is like and also like where is that coming from? Like ultimately, like who is is it the health departments like the CDC that are pushing those ideas? Is it the government itself? Is it the ruler? Is it the congressmen or statesmen of every country, whatever
Or the
that
lizard
represent
people.
the lizard people, right? Yeah. Or is it the corporate elite, the true lizard people? Like
Sure.
who's like guiding it? Maybe it's all of them. I don't know. These are just kind
And
of
maybe it's all just us that are projecting this from our subconscious.
maybe, maybe.
I don't know.
It's an interesting time to be alive, man.
It is an
Yeah,
interesting time to be
it's
alive.
an interesting time to be alive. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. And and it's good to have very like I think just kind of like open ended like just discussions like we're having about it without getting all hot and bothered. Because it's like I just don't understand. I just don't feel hot and bothered about it because I see both sides. And I do. I guess I do for a lot of perspectives, but like the one thing that I'm like is like denying the ability to get resources and food based on vaccination. Like that
Just
is
basic human
unethical.
rights.
Basic human
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's unethical
Yeah.
to me for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, all right. We did music. We did nonsense night. We did a nice like sort of like talking about the state of the world and last summer and
Yep.
this summer. Um, uh, okay, now we just got to talk about we got to talk about one like random thing. Every time I go on a podcast, I just everyone one or two just like batshit random things, like completely off the wall.
How about
I got one if you're thinking.
well, I was just going to say, what if we take like 5 seconds to just empty our minds and
Okay.
then say a word at the same time? And whatever one feels better, we go with it.
Okay. Okay. Mine. It doesn't have to be a word, but like a concept, right? It doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be one word, right? It can just be like I could say like old chapstick or something. All right.
Yes.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Dude, I guarantee you that more chapstick goes unused than used in our country. I guarantee you.
That's yeah.
People lose chapstick tubes all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
But,
Can you
like,
imagine how many used chapsticks are in our landfills right now?
Dude, a ton, man. A ton, dude. They should make chapstick that when you finish it, it's the right size and shape for joints, like a doob tube. It becomes a doob
Hmm.
tube.
Yeah, there you go.
See? This could be a if someone's listening to this
Wow.
and starts that idea, you gotta give me 5%. Cinco, 5% of the profit.
Or we could just give it away for free, and this could be a just a
Oh, sure,
gift
sure, sure,
gift
sure.
to whoever wants to take that on.
Give me 5% of the intellectual credit. So 1 out of 20 people that you tell, you got to
Give
mention
me
me.
a gold
That's
star.
5%. Give me a gold star. Okay. Random. So that was just a little appetizer. That okay. Random thing. Uh, okay. All right. Ready?
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elephant
Pearls.
ears.
Elephant ears?
I said elephant ears. Did you say pearls?
I said pearls.
Okay. Pearl. You mean like the necklace or like pearls? I guess
Pearls,
it's all the
yeah.
same thing. There's only
Yeah,
one thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pearls from where they come from clams, right? Yeah.
They come from clams. That can't be the only place they come from though.
I don't know, man. I think pearls
They
come
literally
from
just come from
clams.
clams. There's no other way to get them. All right, I'm
I
looking this up. Hold on.
I don't know, to be honest.
No, I'm glad you said it. This is oh man, this is the greatest, like the best, like prerequisite for a random thing to talk about is that we really don't know much about it. So we just like
Mm-hmm.
spitball for a little bit. Okay, do all pearls? This has been Googled 97 million times, and it's kind of specific. Do all pearls? Oh my god. Do all pearls turn yellow? Do all pearls feel rough on teeth? What? What? Who's googling that? It's filtering that. Come. All right, this says oysters. What? Is it
Oh,
oysters or
oysters.
clams? All right.
Are
Do all
oysters
pearls?
clams?
Yes. All clams are oysters, but not all oysters are clams, right? Pearls come from a living sea creature, the oyster. The oyster. Okay. Although clams and mussels can also produce pearls, they don't do so very often. Most pearls are made by oysters, and they can be made in either freshwater or saltwater environments. Okay, but like, why do they make them? What is it like an egg? What there has to be a purpose to it. They don't just like
Yeah, I don't think it's an egg. I think it's some kind of calcification or something. I don't know.
calcification. Okay, but they're like spherical. It's so weird, man. So weird. Pearls. Okay.
Pearls. And then that they became such a function of royalty to, like, not royalty but like high classness.
Yeah.
Like if you had real pearls, you were like
Oh, it
in
was definitely a
in the
sign of
high
royalty.
crowd.
Silk robes and garments, pearls, really nice leather sandals or shoes, hats. Um,
Speaking of hats, Phoenix.
yeah, they're making really cool hats. They've got like a bunch of people. Like they've got like 25, 30 people that were like that saw the post and were like, I want a hat, I want a hat, I want a hat. They're like
Yeah.
they said they have like 6 months of work coming up making hats.
Wow.
With obviously with travel and shows and like that's not their entire life, but it is now, a solid probably, I don't know, 20 to 30 hour a week endeavor.
Yeah,
Uh
so our mutual friend Phoenix is making these wizard hats out of leather.
yeah, they're
It's
like
leather,
wizard.
right?
Yeah, leather. Yeah, they started leather working, and it's like a leather cowboy hat kind of. I'm sorry, not leather. It's like a wizard cowboy hat in
Yeah.
incarnate. Yeah, they're super
So
cool. Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I figured when I said hats, you were going to mention that because I was just talking to my friend Matthew and his partner Charlie Mizzard, who is our our friend, and they know Phoenix as well, and they saw the post, and they were like, I like, they're one of the, they're part of the group that like, flooded their inbox, Phoenix's inbox about getting a hat, and you know, like they're super cool. Um, my head is so big. I don't want to like challenge Phoenix to like stretch and add extra materials. Like, dude, hats don't fit me, man. Like, hats don't fit me. I have to.
See, I
They
have the
either.
opposite problem.
Yeah, yeah. You got a little. You got. I guess you got a kind of little head.
I got a small head.
Yeah, small head.
Yeah, but actually, this hat that I have is a little bit too small for me. So it's the first time I've had that experience where I'm like, huh, are
Yeah,
you are
that's
you
rare. Yeah, I know. For
are
me, it's
you
like yeah,
looking close at my head to make sure I'm telling the truth?
yeah. I'm no. I mean, I've been around you. I never noticed your head shape, but yeah, mine is the opposite. It's just like bulky, ovular AF, and just like it's tough to get. I do obviously I have hats, but majority that I'll try on or that someone will like gift me or hand me down, it just doesn't fit. Um, but yeah, it's awesome. Like my friend, dude, like Alex Beecroft are these are all a bunch of mutual friends. It's weird to just name drop friends on a podcast. Like I feel like we should like censor out their names for like confidentiality, but also like I mean,
No, we should tag them all in this
we
podcast.
should tag them all, right? Yeah. Like Alex Beecroft is doing welding and learning electrical. Caleb is plumbing.
Yeah.
Our friend,
Yep.
our friend Joe Marlowe is wood whittling and making pens and pendants. Phoenix is doing leather working.
Brett is teaching meditation.
Who?
Brett Kane
Brett.
is
Yeah,
teaching
yeah.
meditation.
Oh, Brett's awesome. I hope they're listening to this right now.
Yeah, and they have a podcast too that everybody should tune into.
Oh, sweet.
It's 21st Century Vitalism.
21st Century Vitalism. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, actually Gordy, who does the we're dropping all the names.
I know all everybody.
Gordy who does who made my band's logo and J Rose's logo, also made Brett's logo for his podcast and the frame uh, that he uses to promote his different podcasts when they come out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Gordy and Brett knew each other until I brought up Brett to Gordy, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I've known him for a while. Like, that's my homie."
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. They were in Tree Love Collective for a long time.
yep. Back in the day. Yeah. Um, yeah, man. Great community. There's so many cool people. People are doing stuff. Like we're doing stuff, which is cool. Doing the thing, as I like to say. We say that at Nonsense Night a lot. Like, let's do the thing. And yeah, it's awesome to just be a part of that. And like, I really truly feel like my, my art and my looping is like my purpose, but also like that it brings sort of sound waves that are healing and that are inspiring to people. And that's like, at first I was doing vocal looping kind of to show off and be like, oh, look, I'm cool. And then it like, I started to feel this agency of like, this is important. Like, it's not just like that I'm making cool music. It's like, I think it has a place in the community. And, to feel that was really empowering and, what makes me want to keep working. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's when you find your passion and you get really excited about it and you really believe in yourself, you can get to this point of like, oh man, like this is the thing, and you get so excited about it, and then it can an ego can develop in that light, right? And you can just like feel super confident in it, or it's the opposite
yes,
direction where you're so concerned about what other people think of it because you
yeah.
really believe it's important, that if you don't want to mess it up or something.
You get a
And
level of
so
a level of fragility, become fragile to other people's opinions. Yeah, and it's a dangerous line. It's a thin line. Yeah, that's why so many composers and musicians have lost their minds. It's not a coincidence by any means. It's this thought that like it's this like almost over connection. It's like taking things too seriously and like not understanding the balance, because like yeah, while I all that stuff I just said, all that big rah music stuff is like is definitely present, and I feel that, and I feel important, and I feel like my music gets better and that people resonate with it. But simultaneously, I'm a dude making mouth sounds on a box. Like, you know what I mean? And I take freestyle requests so that people say words like dichotomy and onomatopoeia and squiggly do, you know, and I make songs up about that, and I do Disney and weird British accents, and I go into random accents, and like it is silly, you know. There's a level of like playfulness and like whatever, like, you know, to it that I think I want to preserve and have. So if you lose that sense of playfulness, the other side becomes really dangerous. So I think that's, you know, that's happened to many artists. So
It's an alchemization. You're an alchemist of the darkness, bringing it to light and
mhm.
making the lightness have a sense of novelty to it
Yeah.
in these experience or in uh, container these containers that you create with just your presence and also your sounds that allow people to, like, in that container, can be empowered, can be themselves, and it's like the background noise, but it's also like an entertaining part of why people are coming together.
Hmm.
And I think you're doing really great work, and
Thank you, man. Likewise.
it's really beautiful to see how far you've come from first getting um, that new boss. What was it? What was the new one that came
The,
out?
the Boss RC 505. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it was the 300 before, wasn't it, that you had?
Yeah, I had a 200 actually. 300. Couple of my bunch of my friends, especially who play guitar, some of them use a 300. And but I always tell people, man, 505, hook it up with a foot pedal. It's so intuitive. You can update it. You know, Boss is always adding new packs and effects and stuff. But yeah, it's my baby. You know, I've really honed in, and I feel very connected to it when I use it. Sometimes when I enter a flow state, I really feel like myself and the 505 are one. We are like truly synchronized. And that is a great experience. And to enter a flow state creatively, as you know, you've entered those flow states. I've seen it. At least I believe I've seen it, where you've entered it when you're playing music, where you are just like, you are, it's effortless. It's like, it's impossible for you to make a wrong move because the wrong moves don't even exist in your mind. The wrong chord, the wrong note to sing, or the wrong word to say. It all fades. It's just, it's like using the force. It's like accessing your meta. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this. Mitochlorons,
Metachlorians.
metachlorians. Thank you.
Metachlorian,
I
yeah.
think I went towards mitochondria and then like veered left at the last second. Anyway, it's accessing all those molecules
Star
and particles.
Wars.
Yes, yes. The powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria. Yes. Yeah, man, it's powerful to get in that state, man. Music is a universal language. Music, mathematics, and binary, universal. You know, you could go to any part of the world and start playing music, and people could play along or drum along or sing along. You could go anywhere and put up a math equation on a chalkboard, and somebody could solve it. So they're big. They're big. Tony, I brought up elephant ears too.
Well, elephant ears.
They're
Do you
big,
mean
man.
like
They're big. What's up with elephant ears, bro?
do you mean the actual elephant ears, or do you mean the candy?
Both, but mostly I was thinking of the actual elephant ears. Okay,
Okay.
okay, what is something? Now this sounds a little sexual, but like something you wish you could touch right now. You know what I mean? Like something what just feels good, like
Oh,
bubble wrap, you know, but like I really want to touch an elephant ear. Like how leathery does it feel? Is the inside softer? Like they're just so like they're so floppy and huge, you know,
yeah.
like if an elephant was laying down and I had some sort of raised cot, could I use their ear as like some sort of blanket? You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking about.
Well, would would the elephant care? Would
Yeah.
it just be chilling with you, or would it be like, "Yo, get off my ear"?
Right, yeah, dude, that's my ear, bro. What if someone took your ear and like stretched out, but like their ears are so like blankety and maybe they're not very comfortable. I don't know.
Floppy.
They're floppy, man. Like they were so I don't know. They popped into my mind. I don't know why.
Yeah. I could use a elephant ear candy right now. I think that would be very tasty.
Yeah.
I tend to eat uh, a lot of the same foods
Okay.
that I'm here. Um, so it's been interesting, and every once in a while there'll be like I'll get some like chips from the which are like part of the outside world, you know, because I'm off grid here, so
Oh
we're
yeah.
just a lot of the stuff that we have is just what's grown here. um and it creates a really beautiful environment where like I'm consuming what, you know, is literally just being grown here. It has a different relationship than just going to the store and, you know, buying something that's been shipped hundreds of miles away, using all this petro, like this fuel that comes from rotting dinosaurs over millions of
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
and whatever.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
it's, yeah, it's been a really beautiful experience. But I would really love some elephant ears right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like a little sugar boost, some candy, you know. Um, absolutely. You know, it's really the remote locations, like far away from the main sort of contigual United States. Yeah, I was in Hawaii, and Grace and I were in the store, and I was like gonna pick up some snacks. I love cereal. I love cereal, man. We could do a whole podcast just about cereal. But I digress. I won't go into it. I found a cereal I really liked, and I was like, oh sweet, we were in a CVS picking up a couple things. I don't know. I was like, yeah, I want to munch on some cereal. I'm going to be here for another 5, 6 days. And man, the price of an almond milk, a 1 gallon almond milk, and cereal was unreal. I grabbed the almond milk. I was like, that's pretty expensive. And I looked at the cereals, and I was like, nope. I literally just put the cereal down, put the almond milk back. I was like 7.50 for a box of cereal and $6 for the almond milk. I was like, I'm not paying $14 after
Yeah.
tax for 3 servings of cereal. Um,
Right.
you know, it's because that stuff is being shipped from California or Oregon or wherever all the way out there. It's being flown or shipped or whatever. Costs a lot of money. It's expensive, so the prices have to go up. I get it, but it's interesting. It's interesting. But they have fresh fruit and food there. They have pineapples and mangoes and all sorts of stuff. So it's a trade off, of course. Everything pro con, but yeah, if you're hoping to munch on some cereal out there, then you better like make your own.
Yeah, fortunately, we have a lot of bananas. I mean, we have tons of banana
Yeah,
trees.
yeah,
So, like, a lot of the bananas just got bad. But um, there was bananas sitting outside the main kitchen area for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. That you know, were super green, and then they slowly became yellow, and they're just like, it's so interesting seeing a banana tree. Like, I've never personally seen a banana tree before, and it's just like all these bananas shooting up, and then there's this big flower at the bottom of it. I'm like, what
yep.
is that? It's just this purple, like, diamond shaped flower. um Super bizarre, but
Weird. Wow, I didn't know about the flower at the bottom. Wow,
yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
Dude, you ever seen cashews? The way cashews grow is bizarre, man.
No, I actually haven't.
Dude, look up a picture of a cashew, man. Like weird, like really weird. Like now that I've mentioned it, I won't be able to stop thinking about it for a couple days for sure. Because I love cashews, man. I love nuts. Like I love almonds and Brazil nuts and pecans, tomato, tomato, whatever. I love that stuff. I love almonds. I eat them all the
Oh
time. But cashews,
yeah.
I'm gonna look up a picture too,
Yeah,
just
it's
for frame of
super
reference.
weird. Yeah, eventually I want to get to the point on this podcast where I can just um screen share what I have going on. But when I got this current setup for doing all this, I figured I wanted to make it as easy as possible. I finally got video up, HD, 1080p. good audio, and why not just roll with it and get straight into the content and have this be a back and forth, and we can decide in the moment where it goes. And
Yeah,
um, I think I want to wrap this up.
yeah.
um,
I'm down like a gift at Christmas.
like a gift at
Wrap
Christmas.
it up. Yeah.
You are
Hey,
the
okay,
king of puns.
dude. Okay, so one dad joke before we start wrapping up. It's a really dumb joke. I came up with it a couple weeks ago, maybe like a week ago. So I went to a play last week, right? And the whole play was just one giant cat walking across the stage. I caught the tail end of it. Hey, all right. But yeah, man, dude,
Ah.
you just gotta. I just gotta make people think I'm cool in this podcast for 70 minutes, and then just hit them with some stupid right at the end. Dude, thanks for having me on, man. If you
Yes.
want to follow, I'm on Instagram, JRoseLoops, JRoseLoops. My Instagram. I post stuff about shows and music. And if you're in the Detroit area, Grand Rapids, whatever, come to a show, come to Tangent, experience Nonsense Night, experience some of the mirth and whimsy and weirdness. So yeah, but yeah, follow along. And Tony Guerin's awesome, and he's doing great work, and he's doing the thing, as we say. Um,
We've tuned
yeah,
in. We've found another human. We're getting into all the goodness and gooiness and sexiness and awesomeness that is life and ourselves. J Rose, sayonara. We love you.
yes,
Love
love you
all
too,
of
man.
you that are listening. And have a wonderful night.
Bye bye.
Peace.